Hi guys, it's me. Where to begin? This is my first video at university. As you can probably tell, I'm not in my studio, but we're gonna make it work. It is the day before Halloween, and this is going to be a video that shows you my sculpting process for what I'm gonna wear tomorrow. Thank you to everyone who made suggestions on my Instagram page. I love them all, and I've hybridized my favourite ideas into making this. I will change the camera angle so you can see, and as per my usual videos, I'll talk you through every step of the way. So yeah, I'm very excited. It's been ages since I've done a big scary makeup look. Let's get into it.
As per all my videos, you can see I'm flashing up on the screen the equipment and tools I'm going to be using. Mostly this is cotton wool, latex, and some plastic ball and chains I've picked up from a Halloween store. The reason for this will be made apparent later. To start the design, I'm using a cotton wool bud, or Q-tip, and that I'm dipping in latex and using to outline the shape that I'd like my mouth to be stretched into. When I'm satisfied with it, I'm taking rolled up lengths of cotton wool and sealing these around the edges to give the appearance of overstretched lips. To make sure these are firmly in place, I'm putting the cotton on the wet latex and going in and saturating it with the Q-tip. You can use a sponge for this process, or your fingers, but whatever you use, make sure everything is completely covered and soaked through. This way, when it sets and all the fibres are pulled in, you'll have a very solid design to work with as your base. With the lips done, I'm taking a thinner sheet of cotton and applying this in the middle void. So again, when it sets, I'll have a solid base to work from, and the two lips don't fall apart like hinges. That would be impossible to stick down properly. When doing this step, it's very important you keep all the fibres of the cotton wool going the same way. Otherwise, they'll bunch up and it will completely ruin the effect. To make the teeth of this design, I'm using the lid of a takeaway container. Ordinarily I would use milk bottles because the plastic is lighter and already slightly opaque and white. However, gotta make use of what you have, I guess. I'm using ordinary scissors to cut them into triangles of different sizes and lengths, and then folding them in half slightly to make them appear more three-dimensional. Yes, I am also aware of my posture in this video. I know it's terrible, but the desks and chairs at uni are not fantastic, let's say. So if I'm sat like a banana, I'm sorry. To hold all the teeth in place, I'm using that same technique of applying wet cotton wool over the top to make an anchor point. This way they won't ping off later, especially if I'm trying to eat or drink something underneath. With the jaw and teeth now firmly set in place, I'm going back to that first technique of applying rolled cotton wool to make the lips. You can probably also tell from these shots that with my headphones on, I will sing along to whatever it is I'm listening to. I'm not a good singer, but I think it helps. With everything set and cast, I decided I would pre-paint these prosthetics prior to application. That way it would save me some time on the day. I'm starting with white acrylic paint that I'm using to correct the tone of the teeth. Like I say, I'd prefer to use milk bottles, but I don't mind this extra step. I'm then using a black water-based paint and filling in the depth behind the teeth, giving the impression of a gaping mouth. Then I'm going in with a foundation and using this to correct the tone of the latex. Even though the latex I'm using for this set's apparently clear, I wanted to use something to bring it closer to my actual skin tone. The foundation that I'm using is not that of my skin tone, because at this stage it's more important to correct it before blending it to my skin. If that doesn't make sense, you will understand what I mean in the next video. I'm then going in with some setting powder and gently peeling it off of my sculpting head. And a quick check just to make sure everything fits as it should, and I think that looks pretty spooky. Using exactly the same techniques, I'm going back in and making these stretched eyelids. I think that's what I'm going to call them. Once again, I have drafted the shape I want in liquid latex, and I'm creating the outlines with rolled up cotton wool. Just like before, I filled in the middle bits with more cotton, this time focusing more on the texture to make it all bubbly and fleshy and gribbly. To colour, I'm using my aqua colour palette from Kryolan, which is really just fancy water-based face paints. And I'm filling in the red flesh tones, and then using that same foundation to correct the latex tones. To finally seal them, I'm giving them a quick spritz with hairspray to form a lacquer, just to make sure none of the colour rubs off. Then I powder them with a translucent setting powder and gently peel them off of my sculpting head, so everything is ready for application in advance.